Hear me out. You do not have to be smart to pass nursing school, okay? You really don't. Now, is there some sense of intelligence that needs to be there? Do you need to be able to grasp concepts and then apply those concepts and then think critically? Do you need to learn how to think a certain way in order to pass nursing school? Yes. In order to pass NCLEX, yes, you have to learn how to think a certain way. But as far as, do you have to be super smart in order to get through nursing school? I'm gonna tell you don't. And the reason why is because, to me, nursing school in general is gonna, especially nursing, they're going to plan out every week what you have to do. Reason why you get a syllabus, right? They plan out everything that's going on. You know when all of your tests are due. You know when assignments are due. You know when days you have to go to clinicals. Everything is outlined for you. One of the biggest things that stops people from being able to accomplish stuff is because they're not organized. They don't have a plan. There's no strategy. But in nursing school, there's a strategy. There's literally a calendar of events that happens. And it does change, it does fluctuate, things happen, you gotta be flexible, that's what they tell you. But for the most part, everything is laid out for you. It's a matter of you getting your mind right, getting your life right to be able to follow the plan that's been set forth in front of you. The hardest part is already done. And if you already in a nursing program, child, you already did most of the work. Now it's a matter of you getting through it. Now, of course, logically, you're like, duh. It is a matter of me getting through it. How do I get through it? You made it there. I don't think people realize, like, the work that it takes to get into a nursing program. If you're able to do that, then in some capacity you're able to get through the program, because most people can't even do the work it takes to apply for the program, to be qualified to apply. So they already weeding out so many people. So you got to look at it and be like, I'm already winning in some type of way. If you don't look at it like that, then you're going to always feel like you're behind. But just the fact that you're in a position to be able to do this shows you just how intelligent you are, shows you how tenacious you are, shows you how persistent you are, because getting into a program could take time, y'all. It can take a lot of work and effort. It took me 5 years to finish my prereqs for my RN program. Not everybody going to keep going to school. Not everybody going to pay. I pay out of pocket for all of my prereqs going into my RN program. Not everybody is going to make that sacrifice financially. Not everyone is going to do. I had both of my children in those 2 years. Not everybody is going to take breastfeeding, going to class, going to school, doing homework at school, changing my hours so that I can be able to work, have kids, have a whole husband, child. That's work. Been married for 11 years, child. That's work. Love him to get the F down. Love him to death now. That's my man. But it's work. So not everybody's going to do the work it takes to just apply, to be able to apply for a program. So if you did that work, you already did it. So you got to make up your mind and be like, okay, now it's time for me to get through it. They going to give you all the tools you need. You got the teachers. You got the whatever online, the ATI, the HESI, whatever. They're going to give you all the books you need. They're going to give you a clinical site. They're going to tell you what to wear. They're going to tell you how to think. They're teaching you how to do all of this. Now, I know in your mind, you're like, but I still have to learn it. I have to be smart enough to understand it. Yes, you do. And you are. This comes from somebody who didn't learn how to read till I was 9 years old. I had a huge complex about my intelligence and education and if I was capable. That was something I really had to overcome in life. That was a big challenge for me early on in life, and that could cripple a person off the rip. So when I'm saying you have to get over it, I'm saying it from experience, y'all. You really got to get over that and think about just how much support you have when you're in school, because they're giving you everything you need. You just have to take it in and do it. And a lot of times, it's not that you're not smart enough. It's not that I don't know what my problem is. It's usually a mindset that has to change. Now, that's one thing. It could be the instructors. It could be the way the program is laid out. It could be a lot of things. educationally that needs to be tweaked. You might need a tutor or something like that. Like chemistry, I had to do chemistry twice, y'all, because I was like, this is a lot. And I wasn't really focused on it the first time I did it. I was working overtime. I was doing something. I got a whole video about it. I was not doing what I had to do. But I eventually got it, and I had to start to change my thinking around it. I had to believe that I could actually do it, accomplish it. So it's not that you're not going to get it and you're not smart enough. Math, to me, child, math takes so much damn time to get. It's so much work. That's what makes math hard, is the time it takes to do it. It's just time consuming. It's just time consuming, because it's like, well, how does this number, to me, it don't make sense. Like, how does this number equate to something? But like with science, it's applied. Like, you can see science. But with math, it's very mental. Like, it's very, to me, theoretical. Like, it's just like over your head, kind of. It's like you have to really expand the way you think in order to grasp math and to really enjoy it, because it take a lot of time to do, like going over stuff. Like, it just take a lot of time and effort. But it doesn't mean that you're not smart enough. You might just not put in enough time and effort. And that's what I realized with me. Like, people are like, oh, you're just so smart, stuff just comes to you easy. I'd be like, no, I put in time and effort to do it. I do. People like, I didn't get it. I remember a girl in class, she was like, I just don't understand. I was like, well, did you read? And she got mad. And I'm like, did you read before you came to class? Like, you don't just show up in class and expect the teacher to give you everything. You got to come to class with some type of context so that you can grow, you can build on that. But you can't come to, this is, now granted it was a trade school, but when you're in college level courses, you cannot expect that you're going to go up to these teachers and that they're going to give you everything. You have to meet them halfway. You got to come there with some knowledge before. You got to read it. You got to at least try to read the headings, skim through it, look at the questions, look at the concept, look at the outline, look at some material before you walk into these people's classroom. I'm just telling you right now, because if you go in there like, oh, just pour into my cup, the information, like, you need to have repetitive understanding of this, repetitive contact with the material for it to really stick in your mind. The same like what I said with math. You got to keep being at it. You got to keep at it. And what was I about to say? I was kind of going all over the place. I went on a whole tangent, chair. I went on a whole tangent, but I didn't make no notes for this video. I just started coming to y'all. I ain't even got a lip gloss on. Hold on. What was the video even about? Child, I done went all the way off on a tangent. Oh, you don't gotta be smart. You just need to do the work. Be committed to doing the work that it takes to get to the other level. And sometimes that be the thing that be the thing, child. That's the thing that differentiates you from another person, is the time that you put into it. You put in more effort. That's what it comes down to. Who put in more effort? Who put more time and energy into this? Then you get the people who say, oh my gosh, I studied for this for so long and I did this and I still didn't do well. When you doing that, when something like that is happening, it's a matter of you're not studying the material correctly. Or, and that can be easily remedied. But more than likely, instead of you checking for knowledge, you're just taking in information, reading over notes. But you never take a minute to answer questions. Like, make yourself little test questions and answer them. The best way to do it, I told y'all this a minute ago. The best way to make yourself little test questions is to go through the chapter, look at the beginning where it says chapter objectives, or it'll say something along the lines of, by the end of this chapter, you should know blah, 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 blah. All these bullet points. All them things they saying you should know, turn those into questions. Take them, write them out, put them on a piece of paper or put them on a Word document. Give yourself some space in between, then write the next question. Give you some space between, Boom. Study your material for a certain amount of hours or however long you do it. Then sit down and give yourself, like, time yourself. Say, I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes to answer 5 questions. Time yourself, sit there like you about to take the test for real and sit there and answer all those questions off the top of your head. Don't look at the notes. Really try to grasp the information, child. Grab the information from your mind and as you're writing it out, but put yourself in the mindset like you're doing a test. Sit at a desk, sit upright, time yourself, don't have no music playing, try to be in a quiet setting and write it out and just go through it. Then afterwards, you look at it, you compare it to your notes, and maybe you use a different color pen, whatever, and you write out the stuff that you didn't know. You write in a few extra things in a different color. Then you can compare and contrast and say, okay, with this concepts, with these types of questions, I know a lot of the information. I didn't have to write too much afterwards. With these, I'm not really getting it for real. I need to focus more on this. Focus on that for a little bit and still review the stuff that you didn't have, you know, for the things that you know better. And then do this again. Try to study some more for another day or two and then answer the questions again. That could be your study routine because you're getting the information, then you're applying your knowledge. You need those two things in order to do well, in order for your studying to make sense. Now, there's so many ways to gather information and to take information from the book and then put it into your own words. And that I can do videos about that, and I have videos about how to, you know, how to take it from the book to your own notes so that you can really understand it. Because when you write your own notes and you're doing things like that, you start to understand the concepts a lot better than if you're reading someone else's notes. You'll understand the concepts better. Hold on, y'all, I got an incense burner, child. It's too strong. I can do videos about that, but this video ain't about that, child. I already gave y'all too many tips. Which one a tip video? But that's an easy way. So with a person like that, like I study so much, I'm not getting it, it's probably the way you studying. And if that's the case, try what I just said, or go to your professors. This is their job. They supposed to help you to get through this now. Now everything is there for you, but at the end of the day, you need an instructor to help you get through it. Because if that's the case, this is just be independent study. With nobody, I just be teaching myself. No, I still need you to teach me the stuff, but I gotta come to you halfway. Now this is where you ask them to come to you halfway, and you go to them and say, this is how I'm studying. I do this and this and this and the third, and yet I feel like it's not reflecting in how my grades. Is there any, ask for help. They're gonna either give it to you or not. Then you go to another instructor, then you go to the department head. You gotta, come on now. Somebody gonna help you. You gotta figure it out. You can't just sit back and keep doing the same thing and wondering why it ain't getting no better and being like, well, I don't know why I'm doing all this and maybe I'm not smart enough. No, you need to figure it out. Figure it out, because you ain't got that much time to get better. Because, you got to get a certain amount of percentage on your test. Like, so stop letting that time go by. Some people, they let so much time go by without asking for help, without reaching out for help. And before you know it, like, your grade is riding on the final. Child, that's what happened to me. Although I was doing good, I just tanked. I don't know what I think I was just like too consistently like whatever at the end, and then it just dropped. But I was good though. But you gotta answer, you gotta figure it out. But to go to my original thought about how you don't necessarily have to be super smart to get through nursing school, it does just come down to your work ethic. It comes down to how do you manage stress? How much do you want this? How much do you believe that you actually deserve this? Are you looking at your situation? Are you looking at yourself, being real with yourself and being open and honest about your situation and being like, this is something that's stopping me from being successful. I need to do X, Y, and Z so that I can move forward. And sometimes people, it's so much easier just to say, I'm not smart enough. I'm just not good at it. I'm not, it's going to be too hard. It's gonna, I ain't going to be able to. It's so much easier to come up with excuses about why you don't want to further your education than for you to say, I'm not willing to do the work. I just don't feel like doing the work. And even if you the type to be like, I'm not willing to do the work, you might say that and be like, but really the main thought might be, you might be willing to do the work, but you really feel like, if I do this, it's going to expect more out of me. I'm not willing to take on this responsibility. And some people will even say that. They say, I don't want to be a nurse because I don't want the responsibility. But then you can't turn around and be bitter. You can't turn around and be upset with where you at in life. You can't have one and not have the other. Like, you can't be like, oh, you've been a CNA for 15 plus years and you say, I could have became a nurse. I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want the responsibility. But every time you come to work, you complaining. Every time you come to work, you upset. Every time you come to work, you mad about something, or you feel like you don't get paid enough, or you this and the third. Why they doing this and da da da? They don't ever do nothing. Da 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 da. You bitter, but because in your mind you don't want to take on the responsibility, you didn't put yourself in the best position to make more money, to have more flexibility with your career. It don't have to even be nursing. It could be something else that you wanted to accomplish, but you held yourself up because of a mindset. So once we can change our mindset and really figure out what is the thing that's stopping us from getting to the next level, until we can do that, we're gonna find excuses for every reason why we shouldn't do it, y'all. Trust and believe. When I first went for my LPN, now granted, I didn't have kids. Some people had kids starting off LPN school. I didn't have kids. I was married, but my husband wasn't working. He was laid off from work. So I could have had in my mind, well, the money ain't right, I'm not gonna go to school. But in my mind, I was like, when the money gonna get better? If I don't go to school and do what I have to do, how is it gonna get any better? I'm gonna still keep having the same issues that I don't have enough money to do something. So either I'm gonna jump on this opportunity and I'm gonna ride it and make it work, and God will provide, child. Universe provide. Angels and guides and all them higher self is protecting me. If I didn't think like that, where would I be right now? We was living off of one income in Canfield Green Apartments, honey. Ferguson. Had one car. Granted, I'm blessed for that car, child. But I was working. Them first 6 months of working, child, that was work. I was working Monday. I was going, excuse me, let me drink some agua. But I was working full time, in school full time, the entire way through nursing school. Now, granted, like I said, I didn't have kids, so I want to put that out there. But hell, shit, you marry, your husband laid off. You're the primary provider for the house. You in school full time and you work full time. You go and work 16-hour shifts every single weekend for an entire year. And on top of that, when you get out of this school, ain't no guarantee you're gonna be able to even be a damn nurse until you pass NCLEX. All of this pressure was on me to succeed. And yeah, I wanted it. I took it on because that's what I wanted. I felt like if I can just take this year and focus on this and get this done, we're going to be in a better position. And I remember people saying, like, when you married at one point, I've heard people say, like, oh, I supported my spouse while they were in med school, and I supported my husband when he decided to leave his job and focus on this and do all that. I heard that and I was like, okay, if you with two people, it's gonna take y'all, somebody gotta be the one that can make more at some point. If something was to happen, they have more security. So whatever happened, y'all good. And I was already there. I was already ready to go to school. I was ready for something. I needed a challenge, y'all. I had been out of college for a little bit. I was just so down on myself about feeling like I'm not going to be able to get through school. I'm not going to be able to go to school because I have so much student debt. And I was just so upset with my life and everything. So becoming a nurse, getting into this program, like I said, it was like a personal vendetta. Like, I needed to make it happen for myself. And you sometimes have to have that in you. Like, what is your drive? Like, what is your driving force? So that even when they say, I got my back against the wall, is in the dust. Like, when that's happening, what's gonna be that thing that make you be like, no, forget that. Like, I'm gonna make it happen. It's happening. Cause trust and believe, you're gonna get tired. And that be the thing. Sometimes it's not even about who's the smartest. It's about who can go the distance. Like, I'm going the distance. Like, who can go the distance? And that's how it is with anything. Even with marriage, you be like, child, this is too much work. But once you hit a certain point in your marriage and all those strife and all of those challenges and all those things that came your way, once you get to a certain point, y'all can really coast and live a good life together, enjoy life together. But if you wasn't willing to go the distance with a person, you ain't gonna get to the finish line with that person. You're not gonna ride off into the sunset. And a lot of time it comes down to who's willing to go further. But if you don't have a strong enough driving force why behind it, it's not gonna help you. And on top of it, if you don't believe in yourself and believe that it's possible for yourself and really get your mind right and wrapped around the idea that this is for you, you ain't never gonna have it. You're gonna always come in and mess yourself up. You're gonna always be caught slipping because you messing yourself up because it's about your self-belief. So I'm gonna leave it with that, chat. I just been chanting and just talking to y'all, but I just feel like that whole idea, I'm not smart, I can't do it, I'm never gonna. You gotta get past it. You gotta find out why you feel that way, and you need to just move past it. Like, I don't even know what else to say, because I think in my mind, like, if a girl that couldn't read till she was 9 was able to go to college at the age of 16, then in my mind I look at that about myself and I be like, something in me was like, no, I'm gonna do this. Like, I can do this. It was all self-belief, and then behind that I had to put in that work to make it happen too. So if I feel like, I know this is so corny, I hate people say, like, if I can do it, you can do it. But honestly, whatever it is that's holding you up, and I've had times with teachers and situations where I felt like so little with teachers. I mean, I've had so many issues with teachers, like so many issues, not even just academic. Like, I had an issue with authority. Don't tell me to do nothing. You don't tell me what to do. I was just a rebel. Like, I just always question certain things. So always, even through nursing school, child, I was just like, what is my problem, man? these people. But I just think if I can do it, it's possible, because I'm really thinking like, dang, if you just look at it on paper, growing up in the inner city, single parent family, like I said, not knowing how to read until I was a lot older, like being behind, even just having that stigma of feeling like I couldn't do it, all of those things, and yet and still God put something in me to be like, no, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna get an education, you're gonna be educated, you're gonna get through this, you're not gonna let this stop you. And I just think if we can all wrap our head around what might be causing it, I don't know, I don't even think about too much like what caused it. I just think like, man, something just was in me to be like, I'm going to accomplish this, like this is possible. Especially because I still grew up in the era where education was the key for us. Like, they fed us, you need to go to school, you need to be educated to do better in your life. So that was already in my mind that, okay, in order to make money, in order to be able to support myself, I have to have an education. I need to have an education. So that was just in my head. But then once I start, like when I had to stop going, because I've been stopped and started with school so much my whole life. School has been a big sore in my life. But I keep pushing, I keep going. Well, here's the thing. Once I stopped school and I had all this damn debt from this liberal arts college, and I'm like, what the hell am I about to do with this damn debt? And I was, as an adult, me and my husband, we were newlyweds. I was just like, the practical part came to me. I'm like, okay, we got to make some money. Fuck, like what we thinking about we gonna do, like money needs to be made. So to me, the practical thing was to go and get a trade, become an LPN. And maybe it was a blessing that I left that school, because I could have went and kept going and got some very outdated, superfluous degree in who knows what that I wouldn't be able to use, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Because I know people that have it. Like, I literally know people that got all this debt from this school, and they then went off and went back to school for something totally different. They got even more debt coming up, and more this and that third coming up. So it was probably a blessing that I left that school early and came home and got more grounded and focused and went into something that was more practical. So yeah, that's my spiel. If you have any questions or thoughts or concerns, comment down below. I've been doing some Q&A videos, and so I want to keep doing those, so put them in the comment section. But put your opinion. I want to know, have you had the mindset of I'm not smart enough? And has this video helped you to realize you have to look beyond the intelligence factor and really realize like it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift. You don't allow yourself to be open to, if you don't even believe that you can learn something, how can you open yourself up to be able to learn it? How can your mind be open to learning it if in your mind you think, I can't get this? If you really believe that, how will you ever be able to get it? You're not open to it. So you're not, literally, you're like, give me money, give me knowledge, but I can't get it. I can't open my, I just can't do it. I can't. Give it to me though. Give it to me. I can't get it. I can't get it. Yeah, because you can't open your hand to receive it. So open up your mind, y'all. Just open up your mind. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.